Hey, welcome to Ked's VHS Corner. In this video I'll be showing you my Warner Home Video VHS collection. So I'll start by saying Warner Home Video was and still is my number one favourite VHS distributor of the 80s and 90s, and so I thought I'd do this video on the many movies I own that were released on this label. So let's start with the pre-cert releases. In the 80s, Ireland got the same treatment as England when the Video Recordings Act was established in 1984. Films released on video before 1984 weren't given official age certificates. This was known as the pre-cert era. John Wayne in Cahill. Video release 1983. Film was 1973. Clint Eastwood in Tightrope. Now this is one of his more underrated films. It's a very good thriller and I highly recommend it. The film was 1984, video release 1985. Okay, next up it's The Wild Bunch, directed by Sam Peckinpah. Video release 1981. Film release 1969. Frank Sinatra and Faye Dunaway in The First Deadly Sin. This is a very good film, a very good suspense thriller from 1980. Video release 1984, I think. This is what the cassette looks like. The pre-cert video release of Mad Max. It's cut down to a small box, which I think is disgraceful. Okay, one thing that really gets on my nerves is when people do this. They cut a big box sleeve down to fit a smaller box. I mean, that is a waste of a perfectly good VHS sleeve. I mean, I think it's fucking disgusting. As you can see, someone else cut this down to size. I mean, if you can't find a big box to fit a big box sleeve in, wait till you get a big box instead of saying, oh, I think I'll just fit it in the small box, cut it down to size. Of unknown origin. Starring Peter Weller. Right, here's the last pre-cert tape that I own. It's Mr. Majestic, starring one of my all-time favourite actors, Charles Bronson. Another good film from 1974. Video release 1984. Okay, we're going to go straight on now to the post-cert video rental releases by Warner Home Video. Movies that were released when the Video Recordings Act came in, and films were given proper video certificates, like this one here, The Visitor. It's really hard to explain the plot or story about this, but I'll just say it's what you'd get if you cross The Omen with Close Encounters, or if you put The Omen and Close Encounters in a blender, and you'll get this. It's an Italian production starring Lance Henriksen, who was in the TV series Millennium, and he was also in Aliens. A few other films there as well. Yeah, sorry about the glare. Hang on. There we go. That's the back of it. And there's the front. And there's the cassette itself. Next up we have Marine Issue, also released in America under the title of Instant Justice, but over here it was released as Marine Issue, starring Michael Pere, who was in Streets of Fire. There's the back of it. Wes Craven's Deadly Friend. This is a personal favourite of mine. A lot of people didn't like it, but it's one of Wes Craven's most underrated horror films. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. There was rumours about a director's cut coming out for a Blu-ray release, hopefully, there'll be more news about it online. But up next, it's Burt Reynolds and Theresa Russell in Physical Evidence. This is a very interesting psychological thriller. Burt Reynolds plays a cop who's framed for murder, and Theresa Russell, who was in a film called Black Widow. She plays a lawyer who's trying to prove him innocent. Very good film, directed by Michael Crichton. Okay, next up we have Link. This is a classic horror movie from 1986, and the video release is 1988 from Canon Films, and released by Warner Home Video and the Weintraub Entertainment Group. I will of course be talking more about Weintraub as soon as we get to the sell-through cassettes. One of my all-time favourite horror films, Child's Play, directed by Tom Holland. First released in 1988, released on video in 1989. It's hard to believe that this film has turned 30 years old this year. And yes, I have 2 copies of the same tape. Okay, it's Tim Burton's adaptation of Batman from 1989. This is the best adaptation in my opinion. And Tim Burton also did the sequel, Batman Returns. Also quite an exception for a sequel. Jack Nicholson is just flawless as the Joker. And as for Michael Keaton as Batman, to be honest, there's only 2 Batman's actors to play Batman. Is Michael Keaton and Adam West. I don't think I've seen any other version of Batman that would change my mind about this one, because it'll always be my all-time favourite Batman movie. Okay, next batch of X-Rental cassettes by Warner Home Video. Final Analysis starring Richard Gere and Kim Basinger, or Basinger. A lot of people pronounce that different, but no, I pronounce it as Basinger. At one point I used to pronounce it as Basinger, until someone said, no, it's Basinger, and then someone says, no, it's Basinger. Whatever. It's like tomato. It's a psychological thriller. It's on for 2 hours. 1992 release. Both the film was released 92 and the video released 1992. Next up, Michael Dudikoff, who was in American Ninja. This is a Canon Video co-release with Warner Home Video. So yeah, what's to say about this? The Human Shield. Well, Michael Dudikoff plays an ex-soldier, and his brother gets kidnapped by an old enemy of his in Iraq, and he has to go and rescue his brother. Not sure if this video got a DVD or Blu-ray release. I doubt it, because most of these Canon productions, especially in the early 90s, most of them just saw the light of day on video and nothing else. Not like the early 80s stuff that Canon did, like you have all these special editions on Blu-ray and DVD of all the the Canon films from the 80s, like all the Charles Bronson movies, like the Death Wish 1, 2, 3 and 4 and so on. But all this stuff, like the early 90s stuff, just faded in obscurity, I think. Okay, what I'm going to do is going to go through all the sell-through tapes as fast as I can. Start with the Clint Eastwood collection, Fistful of Dollars and for a few dollars more. Clint Eastwood in the Gauntlet. Magnum Force, the sequel to Dirty Harry. Rocky 3. A tribute to Steve McQueen, The Magnificent Seven. This was part of a collection of Steve McQueen films. There's the back. This is a great documentary. It's Imagine John Lennon. It's a very well made documentary. Okay, the next sell-through is Masters of the Universe. I've had this tape since I was 8 years old. I got it for my 8th birthday. Fantastic film. I don't care what anyone else thinks. It's one of my all-time favourite childhood films. Weintraub Entertainment released some back catalogue titles from Tony EMI through Warner Home Video from 1988 to 1990. The Weintraub release of The Jazz Singer starring Neil Diamond was sold as part of a promotion deal that Warner had with retailer WH Smith in the UK. Other Weintraub/Warner sell-throughs that I have are Highlander and Sam Peckinpah's Cross of Iron. Next up, Tom Selleck in Her Alibi, a romantic comedy. Oliver Stone's JFK starring Kevin Costner. Daniel Day-Lewis, Last of the Mohegans. And the final sell-through tape, Batman Mask of the Phantasm. I used to love the series. This is the feature film released in 1993. This is based on the 90s animated series. I've had this tape for years. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Next time I'll be doing RCA Columbia Pictures / Columbia TriStar home video releases that I own. Both rental and sell-through. So I'll see you again, and yeah, so bye and take care.